And that is how I get that little monkey AIDS. When we're going to start the podcast.
Yeah, we're on the air.
Shit. I'll edit that out. Don't worry. There's no way I'll leave that in.
Yeah, don't forget.
Welcome to the Game Theory Podcast. This is the second portion where we're going to be talking about what our music implies. Fucking StarCraft. No. Fucking Starfox. Sorry. And not the verb fucking, but the adjective.
Yeah, this isn't like a furry fan club.
Dude, there are a lot of furries. I don't get
there
it.
There are more furries than I would have expected to have existed.
I know, for like ophilia, right? Like, there's a lot of foot fetish people for some reason. I don't get it. Feet are... I don't have any particularly strong feelings about feet one way or the other, but it's usually not good whenever
They're pretty functional. Like, I walk on them.
Yeah, I'm like, cool. But some people, man, like... Oh, it's weird. We work with like different kinds of populations, and some of them are sex offenders, and the girls in our program are not required, they're heavily advised to wear closed-toe shoes. And I remember I was like, what? Why? And they were like, well, there's foot fetish people. And I was like, the fuck? Is it that common? And then our clinical director was like, oh, yes. And I was like, what the? That and furries, man, I'll never get it. Do your thing, I get, go you, but I don't understand it. Especially like the things you're dressing in are not sexy. They're like just.
Yeah, it's not form-fitting. It's just like a mascot.
You look like you work in a kid's gym or something. I don't know. What the hell?
Yeah.
If he looks at Barney and just sports an erection, what does that happen?
Although one of my earliest cartoon crushes, like when you're a kid and you're going through that special time where you're starting to notice girls, but you're not sure why. One of my earliest cartoon crushes was Gadget from the Rescue Rangers. I don't know what it is about that cartoon mouse, that little jumpsuit, those goggles. Like, I was like, man, I got a huge crush on her.
Dude, that happened to me too. You know who wasn't on my list? Daisy Duck. Fucking whore.
Yeah,
no,
no. Hey, maybe stop slut shaming.
No, I'm kidding. The what about the female bunny?
Oh yeah,
to Thumper or whatever.
Oh well, I was thinking of the Babs from Tiny Toons.
Oh, her too. Yeah, they over sexualize those people though. Like
yeah, and I think part of it was Chip and Dale were always competing for Gadget's affections. It was like a mimetic desire. Like, oh, she must be cute. All the boys in the show like her. I want to like her. I don't know, man. I liked me some Gadget as a 8-year-old.
I like that Gadget was. They made her in a way that was not like over sexualized. So I said all those other ones, sure, like the female bunny for
Lola from Space Jam with a little bunny cleavage.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, what the heck? But then you get like Gadget, who's just like an everyday girl, and she's more like a girl next door, a mouse next door, I guess. But yeah, no, I get it, man. Like I went on to love those sorts of girls. So
those were maybe it was just jumpsuits too, because also April O'Neil.
Oh god, I know. And looking back, look at that haircut, and then like, what the fuck, jumpsuit? What, is it gonna rain every day? You watch that rain slick? You crazy ginger? What the hell? Stop hanging out with turtles anyway. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's mimetic desire, man. If the other characters like her, then young me's gonna like her.
And what are you doing sleeping over at a bunch of turtles' houses when some of them have clearly professed that they have feelings for you? Like,
speaking of furries.
Yeah, what the heck? What are those called? Slickies?
Slickies. Scalies?
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway. Yeah, this is about Starfox. So, sweet game. Big part of almost everyone's childhood, probably.
Yeah.
This fucking game. Like, it was one of the first multiplayer games you and I played together.
It's one of the first huge video game memes. Do a barrel roll! That shows up everywhere, all the time, forever.
Yeah, which, as everyone knows, is completely factually incorrect. Not a barrel roll.
Oh, no. Are we going to go into the differences between barrel rolls and somersaults?
I'll try to explain it. No. Barrel roll, all it means is you're moving from the lateral. Like, you're not just flying straight and turning. You're flying kind of up and around. Like, you're circling around a barrel.
Yeah.
Corkscrew. Yeah. And an aileron roll is literally just popping your aileron up and the other one down, and then you just twist in place.
Okay, so we've covered that. We don't need to get the emails like correcting us on what different flight terms are.
Yeah, it's almost obligatory at this point because like everybody comes across that knowledge at some point, like I did, and I was like, "Oh, new knowledge!" and then pointed out. But yeah, still a barrel roll in my eyes. I love how there's that guy, that game theory guy, which
on YouTube.
Yeah, excellent source of names. I love the name, but that guy,
he's got great production values.
He does. That's true. That's a nice thing to say about him. He thinks things out and he makes topics on things and he talks smart about video games, which I like.
I think he's going more for entertainment than education. I don't know. It's like getting mad at Colbert for being too conservative. It's just, I think that's the character he's playing.
Really? He said that, man, his life story or whatever. He's like, oh man, I graduated with a theater degree, and now like I was always told I was a genius my whole life, and then I started doing this, and of course it came easy, and I was like, oh fuck you, like I hate that guy. Like, oh well, he's whatever. That's a personal beef because one of the first videos I came across, he was being completely scientifically inerrant and being smug about it, and I was like, you are part of the problem.
Yes.
But yeah. I can admit that he has a lot of good stuff. But anyway, he does an episode on this, and like I think he completely misses the point of Starfox, which is Nintendo being Nintendo, just making things fun that are completely weird.
Right, yeah. If you're trying to go through flight school playing Starfox, you've got bigger problems.
You're like, I don't need it. I got this one covered.
I got this. Barrel roll, you got it.
Yeah. Can I just pass out of
where is ground school? The R button that I might press it twice in my cockpit?
So that I may do a aileron roll. Yeah, this is it's pretty weird. He's like, these don't work in combat. And I was like, well, no shit. What the hell? There's literally a button on Star Fox 2 where you can fold your wings down and walk around. That would not work. How would that ever work? Of course, you dumbass. This is not for real. This is
also in combat, you're not on a railroad going one direction only.
Yeah, or like, how about every game ever? Anything in Call of Duty, don't do that in real life. That would get you killed. Of course, that is not. It's a fantasy. It's a weird thing to do, but it's fun, and that's the whole point. And even Nintendo is like, look, you can be a tank when you should be. Why would you ever be a tank when you can fly?
Why is the Landmaster ever the better option for any mission?
I know. Who like sits there and like and they're like, And they're like, do you want to be a jet where you fly up and above everything and then you can just shoot anything? Or do you want to be kind of slow and lumbering on the ground where people like you would shoot you?
I don't know. Is the tank have stronger defensive options? No, it's exactly the same.
And its barrel roll looks really dumb. It just sort of flops over on its head, and then more jets kick in, and it flops back over.
Have you seen that GIF of like the bunny? It's just like a rabbit, and it does this weird random like floppy roll. It's got like Peppy's face going, "Try a barrel roll."
No, it's awesome.
It's like running forward, and it just kind of like randomly just flops and rolls to the side.
Yeah, that whole game, dude. That whole game is so weird.
Okay, so let's talk about. I don't know. You want to talk about the characters first?
Yeah, or even how it got started.
So Star Fox for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. They apparently there was a guy who started trying to do 3D gaming. I don't know if you've heard about this.
Yeah, this is where the Super FX chip kind of debuted to simulate like 3D graphics.
Yeah, which back then with the Super Nintendo, 16-bit is not something that can happen. Supposedly, theoretically, people didn't think it was possible. So this like weird nerd programmer was like, "Hey bros, I can make a 3D game," and it was just a bunch of weird lines, like not even colored.
Yeah. But
Miyamoto, being a badass, was like, "Hold up, gangsters." This is what he said to his other colleagues.
In Japanese.
"Yeah, gangsters."
It's probably the word.
It's probably Yakuza, probably. What's up, Yakuza? Let's do this 3D thing, because he'd been trying to like look into doing that for a long time, but apparently it ran at like 3 frames per second. Just like doesn't work, so they had to develop like a whole new chip for it.
Yeah, the Super FX chip, and that was back in 1993, before some of our listeners were born.
Oh man, that's sad.
It's sad for us. It's awesome for them.
Yeah, they rock. You were born into an era of 3D.
You were born into an era where the games the games that will be around when they're dead. I shed a tear to think about how great they will be.
Oh man, they're already great, dude. Look at Call of Duty 3 or the Black Ops 3. I shit my pants. You got robot arms. Awesome.
Yeah.
Man. Anyway, but yeah, so they made that thing, right? And then Miyamoto goes, "Hey, I want some of that action." And at the time, he had also been like, he walks through this. I don't know if you heard about this, but there's like a little park next to him that he walks through. That's right next to Nintendo headquarters, and it's got those sweet. What are those like? Those Japanese like little. What are they, like a doorway kind of looking thing?
Yeah, those little Shinto gates.
Shinto gates, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, like the red kind of like, they're just all over the place.
What's the point of those?
It's a Shinto thing. It's part of their religion. Like separates like the spirit world from the mortal world. The gods can come through.
Oh. Well, Star Fox is a god, because that's basically what he walked through this thing over and over, and he was like, "This is be totally sweet just to fly through this." Like, he never grew up, which I love.
Yeah, he's
If you
every Nintendo game that he founded has some kind of cool story where he's just walking around and imagining it being an awesome video game.
which everybody did as a kid, and I confess I still sometimes do.
Yeah, so he's walking through these gates and thinking like, what if you like flew through them and they refilled your shields? Awesome, Starfox.
Yeah, so he came up with that whole thing. And flight sims back then, man, those were crazy. Remember, that was like in the '90s. That's when like the joysticks came out. Like,
Yeah,
and
Pilot Wings on the Super Nintendo. Remember that one?
Yeah, and Miyamoto actually did that. He
Mm-hmm.
had just worked on that, and that game was so fun. Oh, I still want to play that. But he said that he didn't think it was fast paced enough. So he was like, we need something like a little quicker, faster. And yeah.
Do you know why the decision to switch to animals is like the heroes?
What's that?
I have no idea.
Oh, no, yeah, I do. I thought you were being nice. Yeah, at that same park where we watched through all those things, there's Fox stuff everywhere. So he said, well, it's called the FX chip, right? And it's a Fox, so let's do that. And then there's a guy in the office in Nintendo who his whole spirit animal thing was a frog, and he put it on everything. He put this stupid little frog on everything, all the emails, and it got to the point where people just were like, "Oh yeah, that's cool, that's funny. He's the frog guy."
Did that guy have like an ambiguous sexuality?
Probably, man. hey, Fox. What if I like men too?
That's a lot of young toads go through that. It's fine.
But maybe focus on the mission for right now, Slip. Jesus, you're already bad at everything. No, it's so that was that, and then they're like, "Well, hell, we got a whole thing now." And apparently, this is weird. So the whole conflict is what? Who's your general?
Yeah, dog.
Yeah, big old dog, right?
What was his name? General Pepper.
Yeah, General Pepper. Good luck. He's that guy, right?
Yeah.
The enemy, what are they mostly?
Monkeys.
Monkeys, right? So apparently there's a phrase, and I've never heard this, but they're fighting like dogs and monkeys. I swear to God, it was a Japanese thing. And so he's like, well, let's do the frog or the dogs versus monkeys thing because it's so big in our culture.
Yeah, it's true. Dogs and monkeys in Japanese folklore are traditionally enemies. I never made that connection.
Why?
I don't know, because monkeys are mischievous little spirits and dogs are loyal. I don't know.
But monkeys are like dogs are man's best friend, and man is not that far away from a monkey. So I don't know.
It's almost like religions aren't that concerned with biology.
Well, whatever. So that happened here, and then they were like, "Yeah, let's do that." And then they just filled out the rest of the roster with Falco because he's a Falcon, and I just thought that was cool, if I remember right. But really weird.
Yes. Now, I think the game most people are getting familiar with, though, it was Starfox 64, which came out, like 4 years later on the N64, 1997?
But, dude, they made a Starfox 2. Did you not hear about this?
Well, it got canceled. It never actually came out.
But you're right. But the developer who worked on it actually released the game, and now you can get it in ROMs and emulators.
Really?
So, yeah, and it's supposedly one of the best in the franchise.
That was on Super Nintendo?
Super, yeah. Mm-hmm. It was, yeah, it was a different art design. Pretty sure it was Super Nintendo. Damn, I don't know. It's an emulator, so I'm not really sure. But it's fun. That's the one where you could fold down your little R wings and like they recycled a lot of those mechanics in Star Fox 64. But yeah, it's the game completed. It finished, and then it just never got released because Miyamoto it said no. Like at the very last minute, he was like, "No, I know what we're gonna do in the next one. It's more. We're gonna keep some of those elements in StarCraft 2, and he knew about the other consoles coming out with all this cool 3D graphics, and so he's like, no, let's kick it up a notch, and then that's why Star Fox 64 was so badass.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He also wanted to add in that Rumble Pack like crazy. So there you go. It's Star Fox 64 or 2 got canceled, and 64 came out with that badass Rumble Pack, which is awesome.
It wasn't really a sequel. It was supposed to be more like a reboot. So it just kind of like takes the Super Nintendo Star Fox plot and just kind of expands on it.
Yeah. So he's still working for a dog.
Use bombs wisely, and Peppy Hair keeps throwing out great sage advice to you.
Oh man, that guy's like the there's this guy in my gym that does this in jiu-jitsu. He always like corrects my technique whenever he's watching me, and I'm like, don't do that. Like, I don't mind when it's an instructor.
Correct me. It sickens me.
Yeah. You're not a flight instructor. You're out here with me. Shut up. Like, just, I don't know. Maybe occasionally if it's like critical, be like, oh, hey, you want to grab the elbow or else you can't get the joint lock or something. That's fine. But like, if you're just like watching just to comment on just me, like, come on, man. Like, tell everyone what to do or whatever. But clearly you see me as a shitbag.
Now, this game also had more of the kind of 3D environment fights instead of all being rail shooters, which I really loved. Those are my favorite levels when you could just fly anywhere you wanted in these huge dogfights.
Yeah, yeah, like those boss fights. Those are fun.
Yeah.
And the little pigs and oh man, they make such characters you just want to hate.
Yeah, like the Star Wolf team. So this is Starfox.
Didn't like shit get really fucked up at one point for that? Like didn't like one of the guys go, yeah, and your dad killed your dad like that too or something?
Yeah, your father screamed like that too before he died.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, this is not a game for kids.
Yeah, that's not okay. That's not okay. Yeah, it was that little cyborg pig, I think. Yeah, it was an asshole.
Your dad squealed like that too, I think is what he said.
Yeah, Pigma, I think.
And then there's the Star Wolf, like it's like you, but it's a wolf, which is just as awesome.
Yeah, Wolf O'Donnell, that guy was badass. Do you remember also like there was like a secret route you could take that would put you in a black hole where you're like the same black hole your father was trapped in, and like the ghost of your father is still in there, and he's like, Fox, I'm so proud of you. And you're like, oh my god, Dad. His name's James McLeod, and for some reason he just named you Fox, like your species. It'd be like you naming your kid like human.
Yeah. Human being.
Human being. Nice.
That would make sense. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, what the hell? That was like unexpected feels. I'm like, oh, what's this? I'm going to fly into this waterfall. What is going on right now, and why am I crying? Tears. And then it's like, now go back to the fight. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's the only way to get to the ending where you fight the real Andros, which is a fucking brain with floating eyes. It's so scary as a kid.
Yeah, what in the hell? Like
his true form is a giant brain.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up, especially because the first game ends with, you fight this weird, like, hardly be able to tell what it is, polygon face, and it's just kind of vomiting things at you and trying to suck you in. And it's not really. And this one's like, just kidding, I'm a fucking brain.
Yeah. And then Star Fox Adventures. Did you ever play that one on the GameCube?
No, I never did.
Oh, see, that one was weird. It was more like a Zelda game. Like, it really felt like a Legend of Zelda, like Link to the Past or an Ocarina of Time kind of game.
Huh.
Most of the game was on land, and you were just running around with Fox or with Crystal, like the female character they added. And
more furries.
Yeah, it was fun, kind of, but I wanted a Star Fox game, and there were Star Fox like mini missions in between the levels, but it was mostly just basically what happened is this game called Dinosaur Planet was a game Rare was working on, and then it got canceled and turned into a Star Fox game because they didn't think it would sell. And it used to star Crystal, who was like the female blue fox, like the uncomfortably sexy blue fox. Like, I don't know. I don't like it when when animals get sexy. It makes me confused.
Yeah. I just want to hide in a room and touch my pee-pee. I don't know what's going on. How are you confused? I don't know what's going on right now, guys.
Well, I'm not attracted to animals, but she's got like female human characteristics, but a fox face.
Oh man, what does the fox say? I'll tell you what she says. She's dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game is. I never played it, but I know that it came from that. It got really shit on by critics because of, Starfox. You're a fox in the stars, and you're not on the ground.
I think it would have done better if they just would have left it as Dinosaur Planet and had it be like a Crystals game, so people weren't expecting a Star Fox game out of it.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. Put a pilot on the ground, like that's weird. Like traditionally, when a pilot hits the ground, that's an emergency.
Yeah,
like my dad was a pilot.
It's a Black Hawk Down scenario. Like,
yeah, that is not where you want to be. But yeah, it's that game, the adventure game. I think that was. So, you didn't you have a tank or something you got to roll around in, or was that something else?
No, I don't remember a tank. I just remember you had a magic staff and you fought dinosaurs.
So weird. What the hell?
Yeah. It's like Mario 2, where it clearly wasn't supposed to be a Mario game, but they were like, oh, it won't sell without Mario on it. And they just kind of reskinned it. It doesn't feel like Mario at all.
That's strange. And why aren't they making more Star Foxes, man? Like, that game.
They are, though. They are.
Really?
There's one coming out for the Wii U in 2015 this year.
Holy cow.
Uses a new dual screen mechanic using the Wii U gamepad to be the view of the cockpit in the R-Wing. It looks really fun.
Cool. They had one on the I think it was the DS where you could a Star Fox game where by moving the DS is how you flew the thing.
Yeah, that was Star Fox Command. Came out in 2006, and you could plot you could use the touchscreen to plot the flight path.
Really?
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good. And then there was also Star Fox I saw on the GameCube. I never played that one.
Assault. I don't think I ever heard of that one.
Yeah, but I'm really excited for this new one for the Wii U. Like Shigeru Miyamoto's kind of showed it, like little teasers of it. Like this is just his baby. Like it's what he's working on full time right now. They're gonna use like the gyro sensors in the gamepad to independently target enemies, and
Huh.
switch between the R-wing and Landmaster tank with the press of a button.
Whoa.
I,
That's gonna be awesome.
yeah, I'm very excited for this one.
Wow, that's cool. It kind of reminds me of those old flight games where you could press buttons to look out the different windows.
Yeah.
And there was one where you could do that and you could target people around you that way, like lock onto them. So, but in real time, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, it's gonna be the first game since like 2006, so it's been on a bit of hiatus.
Yeah, and I didn't even. What was 2006? Was that the Assault?
Yeah, that was Star Fox Command, the DS one. I mean, they did a remake. They did Star Fox 64 in 3D on the 3DS, but I don't really count that as a new game because it was just a 3D version of the old one.
It's so cool that Nintendo like puts out new things for whenever they release these games. Like first it was 3D, and after that it was the Rumble Pack plus the advanced. Remember that advanced chip you could get?
Yeah.
In the Super or the 64.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, yeah, it was 64.
Yeah, you plugged it in the bottom where the Rumble Pack went.
Yeah, yeah. Or I thought you put it in the machine itself, didn't you?
Oh yeah, it was in the front, like the little top thing opened up and you put it in there.
Yeah, I didn't have one, and I had 64, and I'd beaten it. So just try selling that to your parents after you've beaten 64 so many times, and then you're like, guys, can I get the advanced graphics chip?
It'll make it slightly cooler, I think.
Yeah, and they're like, no. And I was like, oh, come on. They're like, God, I forget how much it was. For us, it was expensive, but we were super poor, so everything was expensive.
Yeah.
Was it? I don't remember.
Yeah, we were too poor for one, too.
Oh, that's right. This is your dad pre-lawyer days.
Yeah, he was in law school with 5 kids, so didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But yeah, it was great. But let's talk about the Star Fox team because I think that there's a lot to be said. like,
right.
Let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. Slippy Toad.
I like him, her. Him. What?
Yeah, I think it's a him.
Okay.
Why is he ever allowed to be on a mission? Like, he's your engineer. He should be on the Great Fox all the time, just like inventing things, repairing things. Like, I always wanted him to be alive because he could analyze the boss's shields. Like, you didn't know how much health they had without Slippy on your team.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, he was a fucking liability. Like, the very first enemy on the very first level, he cannot shake that bogey to save his life. Fox, get this guy off me!
He's just flying around in front of you. That guy is going to die. Like, that was not a good decision. Was it? Maybe just slipped into a jet.
Oh, slipped in. Yeah, Slippy.
Hey-o.
Maybe that's how he got his nickname.
Yeah, he's like slipping into missions that are probably going to kill him.
They're like, "What? Why are you here?" And he's like, "I want to fly." Like, no, go back and invent like awful tanks or something. Like, I swear those tank missions were just there because like Slippy's dad was in high command, and they're like, "Come on, just use his tank on this mission." Like, he worked really hard on it, and he's super proud of it. And Fox is like, "Well, I've got a ship. It's like a tank, but better." And like, come on, just use the Landmaster.
He made a whole barrel roll thing with a tank. I don't know. He's confused about literally everything in life, including gender. So just let him just flop around in a tank for a while, would you?
And he knows nothing about space physics. Like, for an inventor, like, remember that level where you're flying over the sun?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "This baby can withstand temperatures up to 9,000 degrees. Awesome, Slippy. Do you know how hot the surface of the sun is?" Like, that's not going to help. That's not going to help. Okay, I just looked it up because I didn't know, but I'm not a space engineer, so I shouldn't. The surface of the sun is 5,778 K.
Wow. So it's a little warmer.
Yeah, it's warmer than 9,000 degrees. It's like 27 million degrees. is how hot it is.
Man, yeah, that guy does not. He's just
like, you designed this to be flying over the sun. You should check and see what the heat is first.
That kid made thousands of innocent little children, probably millions of innocent little children, be like, "No, fuck you, die. I want you to die because you're inconvenient." Like, that's what Slippy did to an entire generation. That's sad. Wish someone dead because they're mildly inconvenient.
Yeah, I was always a completionist who wanted the no casualty ending, so Slippy was always my least favorite because he would put himself in all the harm's way.
Yeah. Oh man, me too. I just didn't want anyone to die because, I was a kid.
Yeah.
But man, that's bad.
Let's move on to Falco, because that guy is a dick.
Falco, that's another character where you got like, you just no. I don't know why these people are necessary. I don't know why you gotta have someone like that on your team.
He's supposed to be the ace pilot, right? Like he's the guy who actually is supposed to know how to fly. Like he was, if you read his backstory, like he grew up on like in a gang on Coruscant, not Coruscant, Corneria.
Just was it a foul gang?
Exactly. The Falcuza.
The pun was too easy.
But he's like weirdly racist against monkeys. Like
Dude.
Every boss fight, time to show the monkey who's boss. You gonna let a monkey show you up?
Yeah, he goes, let's go out there and shoot down these monkeys. He says it like
it's just the
word
insult.
Yeah.
Like, yo, that's our word. You can't use the M word.
You call us simians. Simian Americans.
The monkey who's boss. Yeah, he's super racist against monkeys.
Why? Is there like a develop? Or is there a
there must be? Remember the comic that was in Nintendo Power, like the Starfox comics?
Yeah.
There must be an issue that I missed where just like monkeys wiped out his family or something. Because he weirdly hates monkeys.
What's the point of that? Like, why would they do that? Just like, see that one falcon right there? Fuck him in particular, and they just go ape shit. Sorry, the puns won't stop. But they just kill everything. Although, like, what was so the enemy guy, the Andros? Right?
Yeah, he was a monkey scientist,
which is hilarious. But why? I don't remember because I was too young to understand plot. What's the whole point of that? Like, why are you shooting at him in his face?
Oh, he was like a rogue scientist who declared war against the rest of the galaxy and had somehow used mad science to make himself into a giant face.
And his true form is a giant brain with eyes.
Yeah,
weird streamers.
It's the 90s, so yeah, we don't really expect too much out of the plot.
I guess. Although when that brain pops out, it's like, what the hell is going on? I remember I played all the games on the big front TV, and my mom was like, she wouldn't let me play anything like that. So I was like, oh, God, I got to beat this quick before she gets home. She can see his flying brain and be like, you can never play it again.
Super reasonable.
Yeah.
So that's Falco. Also, anytime you would shoot someone he was even looking at, he just got all up in your shit. Like, hey, he was mine. I'm sorry, I didn't know we were calling dibs. Like,
yeah.
Are we a team?
This is war, you know, and sometimes you just need to eliminate an enemy. I'm not going to look around to make sure no one else is shooting also at him.
Also, do you remember how, like, instead of a point system, it was a dollar system? Like, you earn money depending on how many people you killed? Like, because you were a mercenary team. Like, you weren't part of the standing army. They just hired you to come in and shoot down monkeys.
Yeah, the best in the planet, or the best in the universe, which I do not believe, with Slippy as part of your universe.
And they would make you, like you would have to get a certain amount of dollars to, like, get the gold medal. And I'd always try and get the gold medal on every world, but that really made me like lose all respect for life. Like everybody was just a flying dollar sign to me. Everyone I could kill was just a bigger paycheck.
So you were a mercenary.
Yeah, I was a soldier of fortune. And so every time Falco yelled at me, I'm like, shut up, Falco. It's a group pot. We're going to split the winnings at the end.
For every murder I do, you get some dollars.
And then if you save him, like if you shoot someone that's on his tail, he's just like, he gets all snarky about that too. He's just like, whatever, like,
I could. Way to go, hot shot, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, I literally saved your life, ass.
Yeah,
monkey racist butt out of here.
But he was like the only one that carried his weight in a boss fight. Like, whenever you're fighting the boss, it's always your lasers going around, and then Peppy and Slippy are just kind of flying in lazy circles. Like, you don't know what they're doing, and occasionally Falco would like contribute, throw some lasers that way.
I can't remember if there was a team kill on that. Like, remember when you shot your super bombs?
Yeah, you could. I don't know if the super bombs did, but you could. There was friendly fire because Falco would really get pissed if you hit him.
I remember that, but like, I'm trying to think if.
Hey, Einstein, I'm on your side.
Oh, that fucking guy! I hate Falco. Like, why do people have to do that? That's in binary domain too, where there's that your team leader picks on you all the time.
And they always run to your field of fire.
Oh. That drives me insane.
Like, you'll be like scoping someone. I usually use a sniper rifle, right? And I'll be like scoping someone, or I'll be zoomed in with my assault rifle, and then randomly, like whatever that girl's name is, will just like run in front of me and be like, "Hey, come on, I'm on your team." And I'm like, "Well, don't run in front of my gun while it's shooting."
That's the worst idea.
I cannot stop the bullets once I pull the trigger, so that's kind of on you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. These guys getting in the way. Ridiculous.
Yeah, and then let's bring up the biggest asshole of the team.
Pepe's a father figure. What are you talking about? He's always telling you exactly what to do.
That guy, every single time, he will find a way to work into the conversation something about your dead father.
Yeah.
Like, your father helped me like that too. Oh, you're becoming more like your father. Fox, you remind me of your father before my incompetence got him killed. I'm the reason you grew up without a father.
What an ass. That guy, okay. And he does it before, during, and after the mission. I'm like, can you stop now? Can we have a dedicated my father time? And then like,
can we just have a day where you don't bring up my dead father and just rub my face in the fact that I'm an orphan?
It's just so harassing.
Oh.
Puns have to stop. That's the last one.
Yeah. That's a little heretical.
Oh, come on. But that wasn't very funny.
And he was like the obvious guy, right? Like, it's quiet. Too quiet. Like, well, now we're definitely gonna get ambushed. Thanks, Peppy.
Yeah, and I like how there's one mission where you're flying back and like it's the dawning of the day, and you're like, work well done, and you're flying back in formation with all your little R-wing buddies, and he goes, that was great. Just like your father did on his missions. I was like, why would you ruin this moment? Why?
I was in a pretty good mood a minute ago. Also, Peppy was on the original Starfox team that James McLeod was on when he died. So not only does he keep bringing it up, but it's kind of partly his fault.
Yeah. Yeah. What if he's harboring some secret, like that he actually shot him down on accident?
Yeah, I think also the pig guy was on that original team. Like, he betrayed the team and like shot him into a black hole or something. It's coming back to me. If I'd done a modicum of research, I could speak more authoritatively on this. But yeah,
no,
Peppy.
I think that's something Peppy made up. I bet Peppy shot him, and then now he's like he reminds you all the time just so you can remember that it wasn't him. He's like, yeah, man, your father's like that when some other guy shot him.
Your father and I were super close.
Yeah, trust me. I didn't see any pictures with you. That's because we were always flying in combat side by side. It's impossible to take a picture because there were no
best friends forever. Look at this tattoo. It says James McLeod and Peppy O'Hare BFFs. So you're like, did you get that last week? Yeah, no, I've had it for a while. It just looks kind of raw.
There's some scabbing on it. Are you sure? Yeah. I just had it redone after his death because
it started to fade.
Yeah. It's see, that's a picture of his face. No,
yeah,
that's not what he looked like.
Like in the game, right? Everyone had a function. Like Falco was there to help you get some extra hits and kills in on the missions. Yeah. Slippy was there to give you the boss's health meter. The only purpose for Peppy was to teach you how to play the game because you couldn't be bothered to read the controls.
Yeah.
Use the boost to get through. Try a somersault. Press Z or R twice to do a barrel roll.
And I'm looking at my cockpit and I'm like, there's no Z or R here. You're breaking the fourth wall, asshole.
Really taking me out of it.
I love this.
I thought I was a fox in space, and now I remember just some kid. Thanks.
Super helpful advice, like use smart bombs wisely.
Like, yeah, use bombs wisely.
I was just hitting the red button every time I got one. Thanks, Peppy.
Thanks, Peppy.
You're really helpful. I bet my dad liked that advice too, didn't he, you dick?
Like, he was the beginning of games just thinking you're an idiot, right? Like, now modern games just think you're an idiot. Like, they're like, oh, remember to press forward to walk, hold forward to run. like
your other stick looks around, just like literally every video game ever made.
Right. Like, they all walk you through that. I think Peppy started that trend. They're like, you know what? Kids are kind of dumb. No one reads instruction books. Let's have Peppy be the instruction book.
Oh, I wish you could just skip through Peppy.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Seriously. Your dead father was really great. Don't you miss him, Fox?
This seems like an appropriate time to cry. There's Andros. Thanks, Peppy.
I remember your father hated Andros, too. Yeah, it's not really relevant right now. We're in a mission.
Of course he did. He was the enemy.
Remember your dead father? Yes, I do remember my dead father. Thank you. As a young boy, it was very traumatizing.
He was eating in the chow hall all quietly. He's across the hall. It's just you. The lights are off. He's like, hey, is that you, Fox? Yeah. Hey, your dad died.
You're sleeping in the bunk, and like he like wakes you up. He shakes like, Fox, wake up! And like, what, Peppy? Your father used to sleep like that too before he died. Hey, Peppy is such a dick.
I was up to get some water. Couldn't sleep. Wanted to remind you your dad's still dead.
Man, I'm kind of a dick, but I'd never remind people about their dead parents. Like that's such a dick move.
Yeah. Oh man, how's that helpful?
It's not. It's really not helpful.
And if it is, it's like at a specific time and place, right? Like you just bring them aside and you're like, hey.
Like on the anniversary of James McLeod's death. Like, yeah, your father was a good man. Let's take a moment to think about him. But in the middle of a mission or right after, And I imagine it's not just on missions, right? Because it's like 98% of the things he says. It's like 10% instructions on how to play the game, and 90% like references to your dead father. So you just have to assume that the rest of the Starfox life, like not in the R-Wing, is also that way. Like, hey, Fox, to eat cereal, put the spoon to your mouth. That's like 10% of it, and 90% is like your father used to love cereal. I see you love cereal too, just like your dead father.
He's not even smooth. He's not even smooth about it. He's like, you smart bums wisely. Shit, just teared up a bit thinking about your dad. He was cool. And the best part is, I wonder if it's like this. Like, I drove up to the Taco Bell, right? And because that's what you do after you work out. That was my recovery food. True story.
That's when you want to continue punishing your body after already punishing it all day.
Right. Because why not make a toilet run like in about 3 hours anyway? But I was like, I pulled up and there was a gentleman behind the register, and he had a like a ponytail in with like a little pink butterfly thing on it, and like, and I was like, huh. And I was
I was on the phone with you when this happened.
Yeah. And I was like, I wonder if he's transgender, if he's she, or oh man, I wonder how I should reference his sex. And I was like, well, it doesn't really come up in casual conversation. Just play it cool. So he gives me the money. As soon as I think that he gives me money, I go, thank you, sir. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
there's no reason to point that out.
Yeah.
That's Pepe's whole life. And
yeah, he's like just
right. Like it implies pep talks. Like you're gonna get fired from him. I do not feel peppy when he talks to me. I feel depressed.
He's like, just tell him about this ENR twice. That's all I got to do. Hey, your dad's still dead.
Damn it! It's a little monologue. Oh, damn it! That
flight.
I better make sure he knows that I liked his father. He'll think I was being a dick. No, your father helped me like that too.
This is a major battle. Hope you don't die like your dad did. Shit, why do I keep saying that?
Hey, Fox, last time I saw your father, he was screaming in terror as a black hole sucked his ship away. I mean, good shooting.
Man, I just came over here for a cup of sugar. Shit. Pepe's just the worst.
Yeah, and that's hard to be the worst on a team where it's also Falco and Slippy.
Yeah. Or how about just go radio silence? If you can't trust your mouth, like, and you ruin every moment. Like, you're getting prepped for the battle, and he's like, I don't know if any beforehand missions, but during a mission, he would say, like in the middle of a battle, that's the guy who killed your dad. I didn't. Okay, Peppy, thanks for that extra information. And then at the end, like when you're flying back, that one part, because I set down the control and I felt really good because the dawn was setting. I think it's after you fought the Star Wolf team one of the times. And I set it down. I was like, finally beat it. And I put my little arms behind my head, like feeling good about myself. And that's when he's like, and then Falco's like, hey, we did good back there. And it's like, and then Slippy goes, yeah, I still don't know what people kind of like to have sex with. And I'm like, okay. And then Pepe came on. He's like, shit, your dad's still dead. And I'm like, Pepe, just radio silence, bro.
Maybe he's got some kind of Alzheimer's where he keeps forgetting that he's dead. It's like he's just learning about it for the first time every 10 minutes. Oh shit, son, James Cloud died. That's a long time ago.
During the award ceremony, just walks over, puts his paw on your shoulder, and he's like, I didn't tell you something. You're like, fuck, Slippy, I know. And he's like, your dad died, and he was a great guy.
I'm really sorry to hear about your dad.
Yeah.
It was like 15 years ago, man.
I'm pretty cool with it, if you can drop it.
Maybe you stop bringing it up every 10 minutes. That'd be awesome. Oh man, so in Star Fox Assault, like he's not on a team anymore. He flies the Great Fox, and they replaced him with Crystal. So like you're bad when they have to replace somebody to give Crystal a ship, and it's not Slippy, it's you. You're such a dick.
I think I know how that happened. Like General Pepper got a visit from Starfox at some point, and he's like,
from
take
HR.
This dickhead, put him in Great Fox, man.
Oh, and let's not forget about the unofficial extra member of the team, Rob, the robot.
What?
Remember Rob? He was a little robot who kept dropping you supplies like the least convenient times.
Oh yeah.
Incoming message from Rob64, sending supplies. You're like, dude, this is not the time and the place. Can you just put that in my ship before I leave so I don't have to find it in the middle of a dogfight?
Oh yeah. Ugh.
I don't know how Fox McCloud gets out of bed every morning.
No, I have no idea, because you're all out there. Like if you could watch a video of yourself flying and shooting, being crazy, that's awesome. But then you watch the other guys, and they're literally just flying lazy circles around, attracting people behind them, like flies to poop. And then they're like, "Help me! I need help." Why even have a team? Why don't you just fly alone?
You could literally be more efficient by yourself in that game.
Yeah, because they're like sucking up all the smart bombs and then trying to use them wisely and never using them.
Even Falco, who occasionally shoots the targets, is still more trouble than he's worth because you have to get people off his tail and then get yelled at for it.
Yeah, what the hell? Like in the military, there's something called radio silence, right? Which is like the default. The only time you break radio silence is if something important is happening, right?
Like you want to remind your friend about their dead parents.
Yeah. Hey, just breaking radio silence for the daily reminder of that life tragedy, Fox. He's like, all right, over and out. Click. Like, you can't respond because radio silence. You're like, fucking asshole.
You just get to stew in that for the rest of the mission.
Yeah, you can't get it off your mind. Go in with a clear head.
Oh, it's a good thing that when you meet James McCloud in the black hole, it's just you. Like the rest of your team isn't there.
Peppy isn't there?
Because Peppy be like, hey, Fox, that's your dead father. Hey, James, remember me?
That's what he looked like in real life. He was awesome.
Now he's a ghost, though, because he died.
He's like, oh, shit, James McCloud is on me. You're like, how did that happen when I'm in a war?
Fox, get your dead father off me.
Yeah. And Falco's like, great, your dad's here. Cool. Like,
awesome,
chill.
Fox. I'm super sarcastic for no good reason.
Oh, man. Everybody's a dick. Like, why? Why do you surround yourself with these people?
And why do we have such fond memories of this game? Like, this is a game where, I don't know, did it resonate? Did we all just have shitty friends growing up and we just all feel like Fox at some point?
Yeah, I think you like the game despite your team. Your team is awful. Like, whenever you play like modern military shooters, a lot of time you get this badass team and you feel like, oh man,
yeah,
these guys
like
are cool.
Star Wars, the clone troopers one.
Star Wars Commando, right?
Yeah, Commando, where you have like this team of ultimate badasses and everybody does something cool. Like there's a guy who's like a tech specialist and a guy who does explosives and a cool sniper, and they're all useful and you use them all.
Yep.
Like the opposite of that with the Starfox.
Nobody's useful. There's a tech expert, all right, and he's just going nuts.
He needs to stay on the ship, not be part of the missions.
How did he get there?
Falco can come along, but we're gonna mute his mic because he's just very toxic.
Yeah, and Peppy, yeah, he's flying, also muted. Whenever they made this team, I bet Fox is like, all right, so I can't keep everyone off me, so I need some people. So I'm bringing somebody that my dad really trusted, this guy named Peppy. I haven't met him yet. I'm sure he's cool. Falco, he's a really good pilot, so that'll be cool. And that's my 3 people. And then
it's like an affirmative action hire. Like there weren't enough.
Yeah, General Pepper's like, he's been with the company for a long time. His dad's high-ranking brass. We got to put him in a ship.
We do not have any amphibians anywhere on the team, and that's just, it looks bad for everybody.
Yeah, this is one of these equal opportunity actions, buddy. And he's like, you can't even understand the first one. He's like, blah, 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 blah. He doesn't even know English. You're just like, yeah, give him an R-wing. Really classy piece of flight genius. Make sure you put that in his hands.
Oh man! All that being said, I fucking love that game. I miss it.
That game is so fun. Charging your laser and then catching people and then having your little blast go out,
and having like lasers bounce off your ship because you're spinning. Like that's great. That's how lasers work, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I'm sure that guy with Game Theories have something to say about that.
That does not make bullets bounce off you.
That's gonna get pilots killed. Pretty sure that's not in the ground school for flight school, douchebag. I went through it. It's pretty straightforward. Hit a simulation seat and you learn how to fly.
Oh man, I think the important thing to remember is that this baby can withstand temperatures up to 9,000 degrees.
He is not only wrong, he's scarily wrong.
Like we are all dead. We just all burst into flames for having this mission that was way too close to the sun.
The hell? We had many options. Like you can fly different places.
Space is huge. Like you don't have to go. You don't have to go right over the sun.
Surface of the sun.
Like,
whose idea was that?
You know that you can fit the planet Jupiter in between the moon and the Earth?
Oh, wow.
That's how big space is. Like, there's a lot of empty space in space. You do not have to skim the surface of the sun and fight lava monsters. That being said, that was awesome.
That was a cool level, yeah. But how did that make that through, like, planning? Where they're like, okay, so we got to get over to these Star Wolf people, right? And the problem is Andros is going crazy. He's doing a bunch of crazy shit, so we got to get to him. So we're going to fly through this asteroid field. It's like, okay, that's unnecessary, but all right, we're all good pilots except Slippy. We'll be fine. And then he's like, okay, then we got a lot of open space, so we need to hug the surface of the sun, and then we're gonna move on to the water. And you're like, wait, no, say it again. The last thing you said. Well, there's a sun out there. A star, you mean? Yeah, a star, sun. You just fly right as close as you can.
Right over it. The hottest thing, literally in any direction for millions of miles. Yeah, that's the one. We're gonna fly right over it. But don't worry, these ships can withstand temperatures of up to 9,000 degrees.
First of all, why did you stress test a ship for how hot it would be when you can avoid heat pretty well?
Yeah, space is overall pretty cold.
Oh, that whole thing. That's the whole thing.
And the asteroid fields, like the asteroids are not that close. That's a Hollywood thing. Like you can easily navigate an asteroid field, despite what C-3PO says the odds are. There's a lot of space in between them.
Yeah, it's like going to a rural farm community. Like the houses are and you like that's about to scale. Like you have to be working hard to hit it.
Yeah, if you wanted to hit more than one asteroid, like you'd have to really plot your course. But that being said, it's super fun, and we're not looking for realism in a Starfox game because it's about animals flying and being weirdly racist against monkeys. So fuck people who get upset about stuff like that. Flying through an asteroid field and over the sun is super fun.
Definitely. And that's the whole point. Like they made those cool levels, which I love. And you see Nintendo doing that crap all the time. So fun.
Yeah. Also, Mario Galaxy doesn't really work with physics.
Yeah. Okay, no. I'm pretty sure Nintendo doesn't really care about that whole realism thing.
Yeah. It turns out that this isn't science class, so just have fun.
Yeah. But with that said, hope everyone enjoyed that episode. And we are going to move on to the feedback session. All right, this is the feedback section, and this is part we talk about our interaction with the community. First of all, I have a hard time saying feedback section. I say feedback session a lot. And
well, your father used to have trouble saying feedback section too.
That's really shitty because my dad really is dead.
Oh, man, I'm an asshole.
No, it's because like we do feedback sessions for assessments, and I've been doing a lot of them, so I've noticed I've been tripping up like every episode on that feedback section. That's what we're doing right now.
Yes,
definitely.
So we got an email from Rendrin.
Rendrin.
Yes, he says, I'm new to the podcast and still catching up. I dig it so far. I've forgotten so many things you said that are cool, but just today I heard one of you mention belief in leprechauns in relation to religiosity. Do you remember that? I do not remember this.
No.
It sounds like something we'd say that we're kind of dicks. You mentioned belief in leprechauns in relation to religiosity. That hit the nail on the head, because I started thinking about that same thing a few years ago. How can anyone logically believe in the existence of a power level 1000, random number, entity without also thinking it's possible for a power level 12 being to exist? Yet if you poll religious people, I bet a large majority would disbelieve the existence of leprechauns. Also, I made a review on iTunes and forgot to mention my lone annoyance. Just like movies, your music is louder than the conversations, which requires volume adjustments sometimes. Other than that, keep up the great shows.
Dang, yeah. I wonder if that's the early ones.
Yeah, we're still kind of bad at sound, but we're better than we used to be.
Yeah, I found this whole compression thing, which I won't bore anyone here, but apparently you can normalize that. So hopefully I've been doing that in the last ones. I haven't noticed in my headphones at least. So sorry about that. It sucks.
I wonder how many people do believe in leprechauns. Like there are elf crossing signs in like Denmark or Norway. I think it's Norway.
Oh, nice.
But like places where like they won't like put roads or they won't do construction projects because the locals don't want to disturb the elves that live in the forest. So there might be some people who believe in leprechauns still.
Yeah, maybe there's a lot of people who believe in different kinds of things.
That's true. And vague.
Yeah. we do a whole religion thing on the other podcast, the God Theory podcast. So it sounds like Rendrin could go over there and check it out for our specific thoughts. But I don't like to push my my thoughts on anyone that are related to that area because that's a minefield and it rarely goes well. And I respect people. So anyway, yeah. Well, good to have you on. Sorry about the music thing. I'll look into that. Well,
yeah.
Hasn't been happening on mine recently, but yeah, I'll figure it out.
Thanks for the email. You guys can, if you want to give us any feedback like that, you can send it to thegametheorypodcast@gmail.com.
Yes. Also, appreciate we got a tweet from Anime Polly on Twitter, and I mean we get tweets from time to time, but this one was specifically about an episode, and it was saying that our sexism one was really good, and he was trying to like kind of pimp it out a little bit. So really appreciate that. That's flattering whenever you think it's so good that you're recommending it out on social media. Thank you. Appreciate that. Very generous of you.
And speaking of Rendrin, he left us an iTunes review. 5 stars, fun and smart with some laughs. He says, I'm not a gynecologist, so my review won't have any weight. It's true. The Ultra Carpidarian. He says, I'm not a gynecologist, so my review won't have any weight, but here it is anyway. These guys have great intellectual discussions on various video game topics, but keep it fun and use small enough words that we who aren't college grads can understand. I also dig the banter. It's like hanging out with funny friends. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. That's really helpful. Those iTunes reviews, I know they're not always easy to give, but they're really important. So many people consume our podcast through iTunes. So
True.
even if you don't,
it's a good way to help us reach a bigger audience. And I know it's super annoying. Apple is not good at making things easy to do, turns out. But if you could leave us a review anyway, we would be your best friends.
Yeah, I would really appreciate it. But and thanks to all those who already have. Yeah. Also, somebody made a post on the Facebook page that I thought was definitely worth talking about. Mark wrote in about, he said, what do you think of this idea for tabletop RPG as an exercise of role-playing and storytelling? Let's say your group has 6 people. You collectively come up with 5 characters and an idea for a story. Then you rotate everyone through being the GM and playing each character. You tie in the story up in 6 sessions.
Right.
So, what do you think about that?
Well, like you said in the comments, it's similar to what we did with our Castlevania kind of Monster Hunter game. We didn't rotate characters, but we had each DM kind of take a turn making it. It's really good for episodic kind of games, right? Where you can have these little mini stories that kind of tie into a larger narrative without actually needing more than one session to complete.
Yeah.
Mason had some potential downsides though.
Yeah. I liked how he pointed out that, different people like to DM wildly differently sometimes, not only in like process, like what rules you enforce, what things you highlight, but also in content. Like, like maybe I have a different idea of where the story is going to go or how it's going to get there, more importantly. And so he's saying it's good for episodic, sittings, which is what we did. Ours were like disjointed missions.
Yeah.
Right?
So if you're trying to make a movie, right, you'll have maybe 1 or 2 people writing the story because you want to have some cohesion. But if you watch TV shows, you'll notice they have a whole bunch of different writers they bring in for each episode. And so if you're doing more like a TV show thing, it's a really great way to have lots of DMs, like each one making an episode. Yeah,
and especially when you have an overall theme that you're working towards. Like in ours, it was sort of like a Hellsing kind of idea, where we were this organization that was out to kill off monsters, kind of, even though we harbored a monster ourselves. And that, the church was kind of against us, or the established church in the region, and they had like all this corruption. And so they really didn't care for us. And so there's a major theme of like over time, we'd have more and more interactions with them and it would get worse. But that was a theme. And then we also had themes like, the monsters start leading to more and more of like, instead of just a vampire sighting, it's like the sire vampire over time. You're moving up the food chain, becoming more and more effective. But
and even in that, like it was overall pretty effective, but it's like what Mason was saying. We had one person DM who just didn't quite catch the vision of what we were doing, and he had his episode felt really like it belonged in a different kind of campaign.
Yeah, we cut that out of canon. We're like, that never happened. But he's right there. And also, different DMs like DM at different speeds, like prepare content. And so that really, really nailed us. So yeah, that's some really good, it's a great idea for storytelling. It's so fun because everyone's in it. Everyone's
invested. Everyone feels like they own part of the world, so they're invested in the overall story.
Yeah, and it's it's easier because you want to use people's characters from other campaigns. So it's not like in mine when I was like, hey, do you guys remember I don't know, someone from Blue Rock or something? And you're like, oh, I don't know, was he this guy? Instead, it's like, oh yeah, we all use those characters too, so it's easier to remember.
Right.
It was really cool.
Overall, it was a lot of fun. It was one of my favorite D&D things we've done.
Yeah, me too. Probably my top experience overall. But second thing that I thought bared mentioning was the Total War Warhammer announcement. Did you hear about
that? No.
Oh yes, Johan posted on the Facebook page, and Total War is coming out with and it's been rumored for a long time. Kind of knew it was coming, but they finally released a trailer for it. They're doing Warhammer, so this should be, for myself, who's a huge fan of the aesthetic in the game. Oh man, I can't wait. This is awesome.
Nice. We also had a comment from Paul talking about fundraising for the show. Did you see that one?
Oh yeah, I did. That was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it when I woke up today.
So he said, listening to the latest episode, and you guys said you're not a paid podcast. He must be talking about our Anita Sarkeesian episode.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, have you talked about or looked into Patreon? I'm a patron of a few people and groups and would be willing to throw you guys $5 a month. I support David Serlin through there, and he's got a cool tiered system. Not sure if that fits you guys, but he makes about $800 a month through his patrons alone. I think you guys should give it a shot. I also back Ludology podcast, which if you don't listen to it, you should. And my buddies at Theory Animation, where they have episodic shorts and an online animation studio platform. That's cool. I also studied character animation on top of programming and game design. So that's why I back those guys. Plus, I started 2 animation shorts that will be completed someday. Cheers. And you know, a lot of people liked it and said, yeah, I'd kick in some money if you guys did that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm a patron myself of a couple podcasts and projects. So yeah, I'm a big fan of viral like funding in general. We did a whole episode on that, I think, or we at least referenced it.
Yeah, the idea of like the medieval patron system for artists like coming back, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like it, especially for, you know, instead of patron being like the rich people, instead it's like the people are funding it, you know, little by little.
Yeah, it's crowdfunded. Everyone's chipping in just a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Something we don't talk about is the prices that we pay on the other side of this, besides just, you know, man hours, which whatever, those are free because we like hanging out with you guys. But yeah, I have to pay like, you know, a certain amount of money to Libsyn, who's our podcast supporter, every month. And yeah, I mean, it's added up over the years, but you know, it's something we love to do it. But you know, if we could ease that burden, that'd be cool. Plus, man, like some of these podcasts have gotten big enough where they can dedicate like a whole day for research on the topic, and I would be willing to do that if it got up. So we could talk about a tiered system.
Yeah, some of my best podcasts are actually it's their full-time job. Like they just make a monthly salary off of just putting together the best show possible.
Yeah.
Like I don't anticipate us ever getting to that point, but I like the idea of people being able to do that. It's cool.
Yeah, and yeah, for other people getting that big, or I mean, hell, in the future, maybe, who knows? But yeah, that'd be cool. So yeah, maybe I'll look into implementing that. I got a big week, but then afterwards, maybe by the time of the next episode, we can, you know, I don't know, look into something. And it's not a requirement. Like, I don't want anybody to think we're, you know, digging for money or anything. It's
no, it'll always be. There's not going to be like gated content or, you know, like DLC you have to buy to listen to the show. Like it'll always be free. But for people who want to chip in and help us like at least break even on the cost of this hobby, like I think that'd be a good idea.
We could even do a like those. I like how some of those episodes do hangouts. Have you seen those? Like if they get a certain amount of money, then they can put
do like an audience hangout.
Yeah, like just to have hangouts, people to jump in and just slate them for the week. Or yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that because it seems to be the way things are going. And I actually just found a new podcast hosting site that doesn't charge you for hosting the podcast. So that might be something we look into too.
Okay, yeah, I'll take a look.
So yeah, thanks for your interactions, your feedback. You know, our favorite part of the show is just seeing what you guys are coming up with on the Facebook groups. If you guys want to jump in on that, that's facebook.com/groups/Game Theory Podcast. One word. Yeah,
it's gotten really big. I feel like, you know, at least since its humble beginnings, now we're up to about 200 members, and which, you know, isn't a lot compared to how many people listen, but these 200 members are pretty active. So I really enjoy it. It's a nice little community. Everyone's cool. A lot of people talking about games and are passionate about it, and just a lot of funny stuff on there too. So it's worth it. Facebook groups, Game Theory Podcast, and it's got the little thinking man up there, just like the podcast. So pretty easy to find, hopefully. Yeah. So thanks for hanging out for another week. I think we're done then.
Yeah. Hope you had fun. I certainly enjoyed that trip down memory lane, despite the constant reminders of my dead father.
I kind of feel like my dead father would like this podcast.
I think he would have. I think your father would have liked it too.
No, you never say that because it'd be shitty. So. All right. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining in. Hopefully you enjoy the crazy awesome music. And yeah, let us know what you think about the Star. I almost said Craft again. Fox universe. And yeah, weigh in on your expectations or what would make it better. Or really anything. We like hearing from you. So see you guys next week.